Chair of Nepal NCD Alliance, Dr. Regmi, Ms. Linda Markova, our Deputy Mayor, distinguished guests, and all of you gathered here. It's my great honor and privilege to be here this morning to share some of my thoughts with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Global IME Bank, Sabai ka lagi bank.
Actually, I don't have a written speech today. Whatever I'm going to say is out of my heart and my last decades of experience in the health sector in Nepal. This meeting is really very timely because just yesterday we were looking, the day before yesterday, we were looking at how Nepal is spending money on what kind of health programs. And the highest expenditure that we make is on NCDs and its sequelae. Most of the expenses are around treatment. And we, medical people who are gathered in this room, and many of you who are supporting NCD know that most of the NCDs are preventable. But why is prevention efforts getting less emphasis? That is a key. So as far as I was going through the 2025 meeting, the HLM, and the areas that it had focused on. I think some of them I have noted, and I thought maybe I'll just jotted it down somewhere. Yeah, it was around policy, legislation, and regulatory measures. I'm very pleased to share with you that Nepal has excellent policies, rules, and regulations around prevention of smoking, around the control of NCDs. In fact, we did the STEP survey, and we have a strong program for NCDs. We pay billions of rupees for the treatment, including cancers and heart disease and so forth. But like I said before, prevention efforts are needed. The second was around essential medicines and basic technology. I think here, I'm so pleased to see our deputy mayor here, because the other day we invited the network to Nagarpalika Mahasangh, Gaupalika Mahasangh. We had invited those along with the secretaries of various provincial secretaries of health. The thing we wanted to share was around how do we cut the cost and make sure that people get the services they deserve. So as far as Nepal's constitution goes and the rules, basic healthcare is free to everybody, all the people in Nepal. And when we say basic healthcare, what do we mean by it? It is defined by the law. And also, 98 kinds of medicines are supposed to be available to everyone free of cost. In the rural areas, we've done better because we already have an infrastructure of health posts, primary healthcare centers, and now the government is also expanding primary hospitals, be it 5, 10, or 15 beds. Those are the primary facilities where the services are supposed to be entirely free. But in the urban area, unfortunately, for urban poor and urban people in general, such services are not up to the mark, including in metropolitan cities, big cities. So we really have to do our best to improve the situation in the urban areas and make sure that health workers are available in rural areas. A government's policy has been to train doctors, nurses, give them scholarships, and when they have completed their education, to send them to remote areas to serve at least for 2 years. So that's a bond. So compared to the situation that we saw when we were just fresh graduates, things are much, much better in terms of availability of health workers, even in rural parts of Nepal. But having said that, there's a huge disparity in distribution. Most of the doctors and nurses, they want to go to easier facilities. As a result, some that have a high caseload don't have enough, whereas those facilities which have low caseload have more than necessary, surplus of health workers. So from the ministry side, I have been looking at the data. I've asked people to send me the data to see how health workers are distributed so that I can do a better job of redistributing them with a focus on equity. So that we are doing. But let me just, because I'm taking advantage of the presence of our deputy mayor here again, you know what has happened? We have budgeted 10 billion rupees for insurance, social health insurance, and then government gave 1 billion extra. So our purse was 11 billion to spend on, the entire health insurance program. But so far, we have spent 24 billion. And Ministry of Finance is not in a position to pay so much. So what are we supposed to do? Then I started looking at what is the situation, where the money is going, and what could we do? So at the moment, although the Constitution, the law, says basic health care is the responsibility of local governments, and people are supposed to get free care, but many people are getting insurance services, paying the insurance premiums, even at basic facilities. As a result, out of the 1 lakh rupiah, 100,000 rupees that the ceiling is, they're spending a chunk for the care that should have been free. But for the government, they are spending the cost which is already earmarked for basic health care, plus the cost that has been earmarked for insurance. So government is paying double. People are paying what they should not be paying for, and we have not done a good job. So what I have now, we as collectively, we had a big meeting where we invited everybody. I just mentioned the alliances. Unfortunately, they didn't come. So the plan is to separate basic from the insurance. So removing basic healthcare component from the insurance payment and making sure insurance is for referral care and not to be used indiscriminately, because our monitoring capacity, our IT systems are not robust enough to detect fraud and to manage claims and to make sure that people are not cheating the system. So, and those are the areas we are going to focus our attention. So having said that, I think the other one was on financial protection, as per the HLM 2025, which I've just mentioned. We have the insurance program, but that's facing challenges. Then the other one was, I think, the multi-sectoral action plan. We do have a good action plan, and you, as I think part of the partnership that we have built over the years, and it says robust surveillance and monitoring system. Unfortunately, we need to do a lot more about monitoring and surveillance system. And our Dr. Roshan, right here, he is in charge of our EDCD, the section that deals with, how do we monitor our activities. They've done a great job on communicable diseases and other epidemics and so forth. But as far as NCD goes, the effort is not up to the mark, I would say. So we need to increase our capacity. And since I became the Minister of Health, I have tried to re-emphasize the value and importance of mental health. So my team, including EDCD and all the development partners, they have been supporting this agenda. Many medical colleges now have mental health counseling facilities. Even the hospitals are doing their best. And I see Dr. Saab here from the mental hospital. Many other people, they are working on strengthening mental health. Yes, we need to train more people. Our National Health Training Center, along with CTE, VT, they have been training counselors and primary healthcare workers on mental health counseling, but much more needs to be done. And I think we are on the right track. There's miles to go, but we've at least made small baby steps, and we will certainly reach there. So after all this, my request to you, especially those of you who are here, you are members of the civil society and working by your own personal commitments to yourself and your zeal to support the people of Nepal and Asia region now, because all the partners are here as well. So what I would request you is to further enhance your efforts around prevention, because curative is extremely expensive and unnecessary burden, not just to the health system, but to the families as well. Looking after a sick one is very challenging rather than staying happy and healthy. So with these few words, thank you again for inviting me, and I'm sure there will be a lot of learning from all the countries that are and will be present in this meeting, along with our colleagues from Geneva, WHO partners. Thank you. You all have always been supporting us. So with these few words, I would like to say thank you and namaste. And as the announcement was made before, I have to leave. And I wish a very grand success to this meeting. And I look forward to getting the results of what you chart for 2026 to 2030. I think that's the plan. So I look forward to looking at those recommendations and making a plan to support whatever you develop. So thank you so much.